Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah Kodash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Want to send double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and safety to the hopeful elect Akim out there doing this work. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. Just the brother you call them off with the Great Millstone Camp out here in Omaha, Nebraska, coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit, Rachah Kodash. Israel, the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I was going through some news, and I came across this article, man, from the peoplesvoice.tv. And I'll leave the link in the description box, right? So it says world's biggest vaccine maker develops new AI disease X pandemic jab using insect DNA, right? And this is dated as was October the 15th, 2025. So this article actually came out yesterday. Now, this is another reason why we need to get the hell out of here, man. All right, because Esau, I've been convinced for a while that Esau just does shit, man. You know, splicing animals, just completely going against the creation of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Creating pandemics left and right, year after year. There's always something going on, and he's just doing shit. And ultimately, and this is how it looks, that he's just doing anything. But ultimately, he is bringing forth biblical prophecy with his actions. Okay, he's moving at a fast pace, with this taking away the freedom of speech. All right, they're indulging in multiple proxy wars, that them being America. Okay, which is stirring up a lot of strife amongst the nations. Okay, you also have this micro C-hip technology is more in the news, and everybody's talking about it because this is what the scriptures said was going to be happening in the last days. Okay, now what does it say? I'm gonna get this precept, get into the article, and we're gonna Lord willing, some more precepts flow. All right, so getting into the book of Matthew, I believe it's 24 and 21. Verse 22, right? So we start at 21. It says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." And this is in the red letters. So this is our Lord Yahweh Shai, whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is his words. All right, and it says, "And except those days shall be shortened," right? And this is the days that he was talking about. This is where we're witnessing great tribulation. All right, we're witnessing a Jin to the O on the side over there in Gaza. I just came across an article earlier today where apparently today is World Food Day. And you have Israel. Their goal is to stop food from going into Gaza. As they want to take that land. Okay, they want that land back, and they're doing a great job at destroying it, man, and making sure, pretty much it's like almost like a siege in a sense, man. They're not allowing any food to get in there, and constantly just constantly attacking them, constantly bombing them, bombing hospitals, bombing major infrastructure buildings over there. Was a hospital, schools, right? So they're doing their best to take this place out. All right. So, the Most High said that this was going to be going on in these last days. Americans here can't hardly even pay their damn bills. I seen a video. It was more of a thumbnail. It was a thumbnail. I didn't actually see the video, but it says that making $80,000 a year. If you're making $80,000 a year, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Now, the average American, I want to look that up real quick, because the average American doesn't make $80,000 a year. Okay, how much does the average American make yearly? Right, simple Google search. The average national average salary for Americans is $63,795, and that's as of 2025. Okay, it says that that is the sum of all incomes divided by the number of workers. Then there's another one that qualifies it, or not qualifies it, that says median annual earnings for those who work full time year round was 60,000. The average annual income in the U.S. as of last year was 62,000. So no one's making 80,000. I mean, I ain't gonna say no one. The average American's not making 80,000 a year. So this is why you see people in their car recording how they're losing their benefits. They can't pay for their apartment. They can't buy groceries because the prices are getting too high. You got people that are losing their shit, man. Okay, and it's only going to get worse and worse. All right, I want to pull another precept up while it's on my spirit. In the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. All right, and then we're going to get into this article. Where we at? Yep, there we go. All right, so let's get back into this Matthew. Finish this. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay, so these different pandemics that Esau has been coming up with, essentially just destroying people. Like with that 2020 ordeal. Had everybody spooked out. Everybody's running to the store buying Clorox wipes and buying toilet paper and Lysol and wearing these goddamn face diapers, right? And ultimately, you come to find out that this is an engineered disease, all right? And they created a cure for it, out of the blue, okay? Because it was manufactured. But it says no. Let's get back to the precept. It says that no flesh, except those days, shall be shortened. There shall no flesh be saved. Right. And you had before they tore it down, you had the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, which was right in your face, indicating that there was going to be a depopulation agenda, okay, which it says to maintain the global human population at or below 50 million people, okay, it's like not 50 million, 500 million people, 500 million, and then they took it down. It was ultimately destroyed because they're already getting things rolling. Okay, Gil Bates, taking over these large farms and, pretty much destroying them, and coming with this artificial food, printing off. I remember there was a video where it came out, he was he had printed a watermelon, and it looked like shit, man, so there's no true nutrients in the foods anymore. Everything is either processed or is genetically modified, man. All right, but let's get into this article. All right, kind of all over the place. Let's get into this article. So it says world's biggest vaccine maker develops AI, quote unquote, disease X pandemic jab using insect DNA. The world's biggest vaccine maker, Serum Institute of India, or SII, is conspiring with the globalist-backed Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, or CEPI, and Houston Methodist to unleash a chilling new AI-developed Disease X pandemic jab laced with insect DNA targeting H5N1 avian influenza, as revealed in the CEPI press release. says, launched at Davos in 2017 by the World Economic Forum, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and several world governments. CPI sinister partnership with SII aims to fast-track this experimental bird flu vaccine. Right? It says, John Fleetwood reports SII supplies vaccines to more than 170 countries and is well known for its rapid response to work during infectious disease outbreaks. So, keep your eyes on this, man. This is gonna, this is gonna be bad for a lot of people. A lot of people are gonna get sick. A lot of people are gonna be unalived by this. Because it says that this vaccine maker that, they supply over 170 countries. That's major, man. It says the new project will be supported by up to $16.4 million. So they're dumping a lot of money into this, and it's AI, AI generated, which, yeah, this AI is getting out of control for number one, but, one of the brothers, he sent something through here, the chat earlier today, how you're going to have these robots, going to be able to make decisions in society. I forget exactly. Let's see, let me look at it. But this is going to be governing the streets. These robots are going to be governing the streets. All right. Top U.S. Army general says he's letting ChatGPT make military decisions. So not AI, but ChatGPT to make military decisions. Okay. Which I did a lesson a little while back going into how, that's how certain states will be making decisions based off like judicial decisions based off of ChatGPT. Okay. So let's get back into this article a little bit. Says the effort is meant to quote unquote boost pandemic response preparedness for bird flu and serve quote unquote as a prototype for potential disease X, an as yet unknown pathogen with pandemic potential. So these devils are at work, man. All right, these devils are at work. Their goal is to get people the hell out of here. All right. Now, let me get this next precept here. This is the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, right? Which proves reincarnation, because this was written, I want to say about 2,000 years ago, right? It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. All right, it says the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So Ezra is back here in this day and age now, because the same evils that he's speaking of, all right, we're seeing them. Okay, right, we're seeing earthquakes in diverse places. There was a mass flooding in Colorado. There was a tsunami that I just seen that hit Alaska. All right, so devastation is going on throughout the world, and you got a lot of people that's not happy, with how things are going, because they're suffering from it. Okay, and it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, and this is not this disease X, that is a plague, man. Also spoken of in the prior chapter, where it speaks about pestilences, man. Okay? So, these things are, we're living in the last days for sure, man. All right? We're definitely living in the last days, and Esau, Edom, and he's those horns is cracking through his skin, man. He can't hide it no more, man. All right? So, I just wanted to report on this, man. Didn't want to make this too long of a lesson. Like I said, I'm going to post this article in the description, post-production. So, brothers and you sisters out there, whoever can, check it out for themselves. All right. So with that being said, I'm leave it there. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachach Kodash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.